understand. I see. You can have 40 expeditions going at once. Wild. Classic, original launch balancing, normal game balancing, or hard. Lower temperatures across the whole game. Let's do normal. This confuses me. Like, was it easier or was it too hard before? You know? Original launch balancing? I don't understand. We're just gonna do normal. Oh, the airs be cold. Of flake and white as sailor begs their pledge. Oh, I get to make up the rhyme. Oh, the airs be cold of flake and white as a sailor begs their pledge. To the ice they'll pray that leads reveal. Out in the ice they'll stake a claim, or that in the dark they'll brace themselves. I like the ice. Let's do out on the ice they'll stake a claim. And carve a course ahead. Good rhyme. You rhymed ahead with pledge. That's definitely a weird scale. It's definitely not like pentatonic. I feel like classic would be in the middle if it was harder than normal. Yeah, you'd think. Of homes they'll dream, to the souls around, of glory found. Middle. To the souls around them shielding fear, dividing up their dread, a hunger draws the desperate here. It's one that can't be fed. I like this part, because it's like hunger and fed. It's one that can't be fed. What will you do when steel hearts break and courage does abscond? I'll lead these souls, so help the gods. I'll do what must be done indeed. I'll learn to live a life out here. I'll do what must be done. Out in the pale beyond. That is the wildest rhyme I've ever read. Let's do the whole thing. Oh, the airs be cold of flake and white as a sailor begs their pledge. Out in the ice they'll stake a claim and carve a course ahead. To the souls around them shielding fear, dividing up their dread, a hunger draws the desperate here, it's one that can't be fed. What will ye do when steel hearts break and courage does abscond? I'll do what must be done indeed, out in the pale beyond. That's actually pretty solid. That sounds very Dr. Seussian if it wasn't so creepy. Begin your journey. The Temperance. I'll take credit for that good rhyme. Crew wanted. Able-bodied crew wanted for dangerous expedition. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. Glory to be had in the event of success. Address over leaf. Neat. Why do we have a metronome? You're alone in the office. The tea in your hand has long since gone cold. I'd rather coffee. Agreed. I'm that guy. Looking around the room, you can make out a collection of military books. On the desk is a ship in a bottle. A metronome ticks away steadily. I was asking about this. Implying that some Dr. Seuss books weren't creepy? Not that kind of creepy, though. They were like existentially creepy. Like nuclear war style creepy. It's harmless. It is weird, but it's harmless. A simple reminder of the time you've spent waiting. It stops. Keep waiting. You hear footsteps climbing the stairs that brought you here. Take a seat or remain standing. Let's remain standing. The door behind you swings open. That way we could greet them and give them a handshake. The captain bounds past you to the other side of the desk. Do you have all of your teeth? Sorry? I have enough to get by. Open your mouth. I would say sorry. What? My name is Shaw? Answer the question, please. I've enough to get by. I've not had scurvy before. Let's open my mouth. Answer enough. You bare your teeth to the man. Good. Scurvy. Can never be too careful. Do you lose your teeth from scurvy? I didn't know that. I'm learning so much today. The captain sits down. It's the little things you can lose people to. Are you speaking from experience? I've not had scurvy before. We're past the scurvy, bud. Are you speaking from experience? Silence. How many people have died under your supervision? None. Meaning you're either perfect for the job, or a liar. Or you've never been in command. Which is it? The latter. Really? Command tests a person's mettle. Do you think you're ready? I'll have to be. Please, take a seat. Thank you. The chair is uncomfortably large. The seat feels warm. The captain smokes his pipe. I'm Captain Hunt. My name is Robin Shaw? Shaw. He nods. On your desk, which ship is that? Ah, this? Detailed, isn't she? Incredibly. An old sailor's superstition. I hope you weren't waiting too long. I'm told it's worth the wait. Good. There's been a lot of candidates. Some good, some bad. Interesting mix. I'm sure you understand the need for discretion. The advert said there was glory to be had. It all seems a bit convoluted for a sailing job. Or keep listening. Let's say keep listening. Months of darkness, low wages, slim chance of safe return. That didn't deter you, did it? Quite the opposite. It's why I'm here. Good work is hard to come by. It's to be expected, surely? Yes. You lose everything, it undoes all your scar tissue and stuff, like your belly button? Holy crap, really? Wait, but what's the superstition? That's a good point, Jeremy. I wanted him to tell me, and then I don't know. So apparently a ship in a bottle is a sailor superstition. Somebody should look that up and explain it to me. It's to be expected, surely? I thought it blunt, but it's proven remarkable at weeding out the weak and the pretend. I've a few questions first. He looks down at his list of questions. Were you born a landlubber or a sea dog? I'm sorry? Landborn, I'm from the city. Saltborn, the ocean, the same as yourself. Or mixed, if I knew I'd tell you, I've been all over. I like the, we've been all over. I'm muttwash? What? Ah, a muttwash. Plenty of these joining. Oh, I forgot to use his voice, sorry. Myself included. Military experience? We could be colonial of the Royal Admiralty. Merchant marine, sailed the merchant lines for 12 years, or a criminal only evading them. Let's say we were in the military. Royal Admiralty, colonial. Never command, though. A muttwash from the Navy. I guess I'm not that special these days. Haha, we're exactly like this guy. There's criminally few writing robots in this game, like almost zero it feels like. Considering it's set in like the Victorian era, yeah, I think that's a safe assumption. Under what circumstances did you leave? Oh, I keep forgetting to use his voice. In one piece. You'd be surprised how many can't even say that. Have you ever fired a weapon? Yes, I have. Have you ever killed a man, directly or otherwise? Yes, I have. It's the military. I can't imagine that I wouldn't have gotten into a scrap at some point. Random scurvy fact, people in areas where citrus wasn't native, people used to eat pine tips to keep scurvy away. That's fascinating. Scurvy is a weird disease, huh? You're not married, are you? Happily? Of course not. That's irrelevant. Of course not. If I was married, I wouldn't be on this job, I don't think. You'd better not have a death wish. One must believe they'll return to justify leaving in the first place. Any less and you're doing yourself a disservice. Can you get to the point? So where are we headed? We're here to find the ship in that bottle. The Viscount. Viscount? Viscount? Heard of it? I have. Let's let him explain. No, enlighten me. He clears his throat. Ahem. 5 years ago, she set sail on a research expedition toward the Dead Peninsula. That's a terrible name for any place. They were trying to find and study the absolute magnetic south. Maybe this isn't the real world, now that I'm looking at the map. If they found it, I might have heard of them. Viscount, strange name for a ship. They can't all be named for dukes and princes. Viscount wasn't always hereditary. It was an earned title once. Admirals certainly love their metaphors. Almost as much as their medals. Hunt, no offense. Anyway, the point is she never came back. Her last known location was 200 miles south of land, presumably lost to the ice. 5 years is a bit late for a rescue operation. They're probably dead. This is beginning to sound like a suicide mission, and we're supposed to be chasing this ship? I would say this one, probably. Alive or not, their research is supposedly of extreme importance. And we're supposed to be chasing that research. Exactly. Alright, you have my attention. The captain smiles. Here's what we do know. Not one person or thing has been heard from the Viscount ever since it first left port. So we're chasing ghosts then? They're definitely all dead. Maybe it's a myth, maybe it isn't. I can assure you the money is real. Those with more money than sense want that old ship. That's the job. If I don't pick the first mate, somebody else will, and, well, my judge of character's gotten me this far. What of our crew? What of our own ship? Who's financing all this? The usual. Film and lecture rights have been sold, of course. We're in the process of signing off on a final benefactor for the expedition. What an age! When, like, rich people, like, funded exploration and, like, built libraries and stuff, now they, like, squirrel it away and want to become, like, Instagram famous. Not that that was a great era to live in either. It's just kind of a fascinating use of wealth. They've even donated a ship. We'll be traveling on board the Temperance. She's a beauty, Greenwood, generational. Not many like it left these days. The Viscount and the Temperance. They're sister ships. Built together, sent out into this world to die alone. You seem to love metaphor yourself. Indeed. Perhaps that makes me a hypocrite. But I like to think one calls out for the other. The captain looks at the bottled ship. So what do you think? It's worth it if there's a chance anyone's alive. There's no way anybody's alive. After 5 years trapped in ice, no way. Sounds like you'll need all the help you can get. We will. The captain checks his watch. Anyway, I think I've heard enough. The captain stands up. We leave in a month. Welcome aboard, Shaw. Robin Shaw is my name. Proverbial speaking. Do you need more? Don't you need more information? So I have the job? Well, it's pretty obvious, dummy. Don't you need more information? Not if I'm a captain worth his salt. I work with people, not professions. I'd sooner trust a good carpenter than a cruel sailor to save me from drowning. But alas, I'll see you on the Temperance. The captain makes his way to the door and you follow. You arrive at the docks a month to the day. Ooh, now we're in isometric view. Before you lies the ship. The letters on its side read Temperance. Oh, approach the Temperance. You walk the cobble to the boarding ramp. Beside is a sharply dressed man overseeing the loading of cargo. Who's this guy? Is this me? Can't find anything on superstitions about a ship in bottles, at least from a short look. Okay, so the game made it up. Which is fine. It's their own lore. He turns to you with a stern expression. You can feel his eyes assessing you. That's probably why they just left it alone. A military gate. You must be Hunt's pick for first mate. Oh, the Templeton is saying this. Oh god. What should I... A voice. A military gate. You must be Hunt's pick for first mate. I'm never gonna remember these voices. I figured he'd keep it in the ranks. Good man. He extends an arm. Richard Templeton. A pleasure. We shake his hand. Creepy butler voice. You accept his offer of a handshake. I don't think he's a butler, though. I shall be operating as the chief science officer of this expedition. I am also the incumbent representative of our benefactor. Do, however, consider myself and my team are at you and the captain's disposal. What did you specialize in, Mr. Templeton? I look forward to working together. I'm fairly certain we're all disposable. Looks like one, that's all that matters. Well, that's rude. If I looked like a butler, I wouldn't want people to be calling me a butler if I was a scientist. What did you specialize in? Applied botany. Not much use for a botanist on the ice, is there? I look forward to working together. I expect you to be up to the task. Some of the layabouts Hunt hired are questionable at best. No doubt I'd needn't inform you of your duties. You're the second only to the Captain Hunt himself. Though I must warn you that you have quite the task ahead. The rabble I've spent the afternoon sorting are the same that you'll have to whip into shape. Punctuality, schedule, a strict adherence is what we need if this expedition is to succeed. I expect you to be the organized sort. You would not have been assigned the role otherwise. Week 0, morning. It is negative 10 degrees Celsius already? Where the hell are we? Why is it so cold? I likely have more in common with the crew than I do yourself, Mr. Templeton. I have more than enough experience with a crew of this nature. You speak like you're in charge. I think I have experience. We'll say that. That is comforting to hear. It would seem for most of the crew that the captain favored personal history over expertise. It is good to know he found the capable sort for such a vital role. Let me know when you're ready to depart. The less valuable time we waste here, the better. Alright, we've got Fisher Guy over here. A young man stands at the ramp, steeling himself for the journey ahead. Hesitantly, he begins to drag his feet up the ramp and onto the ship. Oh. The city. You will be gone for quite a while. It will be some time before you see the city again. Neat. Oh, that's an eye! I thought it was a fish. Alright, that's all we have left. Onto the boat we go. Oh, it's got like a Viking longship front. Hunt's description of the ship was accurate. Near identical to the Viscount, barring some modern additions. We set sail. And away we go. Week 1. 1 week on the Temperance. What the hell? Why is the ocean glowing? Or is that like sunlight on the water? It's been a month. First Mate Shaw, personal log. It's been 1 month since I signed on and 1 week since we've set sail aboard the Temperance. I'm told the waters will get warmer as we pass the hemisphere before they turn colder. Captain Hunt. Captain Hunt has mostly kept to his quarters so far. I'm not sure what to make of our leader. I've heard the rumors. Drinking, desertion, there's probably a good reason he's dressed in antiques. But despite that, I find myself warming to the man. I did kind of like him. The Temperance. The Admiral had nothing like this. She's magnificent, it's seaworthy, an abomination. She seems kind of cool. She's magnificent, a technical marvel, elegant machinery expertly weaved through one of the fastest hardwood ships of its day. Reborn for this mission, breathing again with life, she's simply magnificent. But who's paying for this? I can't help but wonder who's footing the bill for all this. Certainly not the captain. Such exquisite modifications to the ship mustn't have come cheap. It's none of my business, though. But the question still lingers in my mind. As for the rest of the crew, there are now 22 of us, including the captain. Our next port will be our last before we enter the ice, to pick up the remaining 4 members of the crew, the scouting team. Hunt is also keen to work out a deal on a pack of sledding dogs. The crew are a strange lot. Eclectic as the ship itself. We will sign off. One of Hunt's sailors approaches. His name is Joe. Captain wants you at the helm. Good. Want to see them. Good, I want to see him. I'll head there now. He leaves. Good God, if I remember what Joe sounds like, I would be amazed. Let's go talk to the captain. You ascend the stairs to the stern and find the old captain manning the helm of the ship. Ah, Robin. His lovely day, isn't it? It is indeed, Captain. One of your lackeys summoned me. Don't you have a helmsman to do that for you? It is indeed, Captain. Looks nice. It's nice and sunny. Indeed. It's days like these I make sure to do my share of the sailing. He winks. Too old to stomach a storm? Let's just let him continue. He thinks for a moment before stepping aside and stretching out a wrinkled hand. Did you ever take the helm in the Admiralty? Never felt right not to for me. What? Never felt right not to for me. I don't know what that. There's too many negatives in there. Here, why don't you have a try? Take the wheel. You grip the wheel of the ship and feel the weight of the waves in your arms. Use the right thing to pan around. The memory in your muscles rear themselves as you begin to move in time with the ship and the wind. Easy. There, you have it. Captain pats you on the back. Fantastic. Now try to get a sense of where we are. Get some perspective. Can I zoom out? Apparently not. Oh, I can. Aha! Peaceful, isn't it? Surrounded by fog. Panning and zooming speeds can be adjusted in the settings menu. I might want to increase the zoom speed. It's very, very slow. He takes the wheel back from you. I think I'll drink the morning in a little longer. Would you mind preparing my quarters for the day's work? There's much to do. Alright. To the captain's cabin we go. Oh, there's a lot to do here. A tub? A pristine furnished tub secured to the floor. A luxury to be had on the ice. A painting. A classical painting depicting sailors doing battle with a kraken. An ode to an old folk story known to all Captain Seamus. Or was it Hamish? On the desk you make out a variety of papers, notes, and maps. On top of the ocean surrounded by fog, not terrifying at all. This game is supposed to be sort of supernatural, I think. So prepare yourself for that. As well as a sealed letter with a stamp you don't recognize. The desk itself is suspended with ropes to keep it safely in place. Oh, I see that. Interesting. Kind of sways back and forth with the ship. We will take requests, I guess? You take a seat at the end of the room. The captain joins you. Now let's run through our provisions before taking requests. To start, there's 23 souls signed on to this expedition, ourselves included. Ah, there we all are. That's 16 free to be assigned to tasks if they aren't already busy. The rest are deployed to their permanent stations. You are only able to deploy crew who you have discovered. They must be in good health and not otherwise deployed to another post. We'll be picking up the scouting crew at the next port. The lot of us also seem to be in good spirits. Well, that's good. The expedition will end, tearing itself apart if you end the week with no decorum left. Ah, we have 100 out of 100 right now. We have enough of provisions for at least 6 months in case of emergency. I see that. 100 out of 100. If you cannot afford the minimum food rations at the end of the week, crew will become malnourished. Unless cured, the malnourished status will develop into scurvy, a severe status effect that prevents crew from working, eventually killing them at the end of a week. Should we take bets on how many crew members Ben will lose? I don't... I don't know how this game works. I don't know if that'd be a fair bet or not. And more than enough fuel to see us there and back again. 100 out of 100 again. Colder temperatures will increase the minimum fuel required at the end of a week. If you cannot afford that minimum fuel, crew will become freezing. Unless cured, the freezing status will develop into frostbite, a severe status effect that prevents crew from working and eventually killing them at the end of the week. So freezing and being malnourished also do the same thing. Sledding dogs, well, they're still a matter of negotiation. Dogs will be needed to send sledding teams out to gather resources on the ice. Sending hunts out further requires a greater amount of dogs. They will rest and become available between the weeks, but we have none right now. Now on to work. We could talk to Cordell, or we could talk to Corvid, or maybe both. She's got a dog. Let's talk to Cordell. Have you agreed? Have you agreed upon my conditions? To the point, eh? Shaw, this is Lady Cordell. Cordell is here to provide us with a kennel of hounds for the sleds, and our agreement was that she would train them up until we part ways at the nearest island, but... You neglected to inform me that you were bringing my dogs through the Pale Passage. I had no intention of sending the pack to its death. You seem to have good faith in this expedition. It's one thing to ask for my whole kennel, it's another to drag them into the ice to chase a myth. Never before has a buyer been so dishonest. And never before has a seller made such strong demands. Lady Cordell? And what exactly are these demands? You already sold the dogs, did you not? You have no control over them now. Well, she could always, take the deal back. What exactly are these demands? She demands we allow her to come along on the expedition. Well, you know, another person to work. None on this ship have the experience and familiarity with these dogs that I possess. If you are taking them to such a brutal location, they will need me to guide them if they have any chance of survival. The humans on board of course. Of course. You can see my dilemma, Shaw. Bringing on another member of the crew is a risk, but our hands may be tied. Your thoughts? I don't see the harm in having an expert on the sled dogs. We should cancel the deal. If you're so adamant, we accept your offer. I don't see the harm, honestly. A good point, Shaw. I'm full of good points. He turns to her. This deal is already to your benefit. Do you have anyone on board with extensive training in the management of ruling of dogs? Your sleds are useless if you can't control the dogs efficiently enough to haul them. And I would like to ensure my dogs are treated properly. Welcome aboard, Cordell. Your knowledge should prove valuable. Don't expect the crew to waste time taking care of your mutts then. I hope you are experienced as you claim. Welcome aboard. Invaluable. I'll have a room prepared for you below deck. Max crew increased to 24. No need, you'll find me in the forecastle with the dogs. She leaves. I hope I'm not making a mistake, Shaw. And now we will talk to Corvid. Isn't that like a technical term for a crow? Experts are always welcome, especially when it comes to animals. I don't know how to handle a dog. Like, if she wants to come along of her own free will, now we just have an extra hand. I guess we have an extra person to feed, but who knows? A sailor enters. We found a stowaway in the lower hold. Bring them in. Another sailor enters, leading a young man by their side. You know, you're not the first stowaway I've had. The captain studies them further. You know where we're headed, don't you? I do, sir. The ice. His name is Runt? Did you know that before you climbed inside that crate? I did, sir. Har, how old are you? You're hardly a useful pair of hands. Not true. I can pull my weight, sir. Do you know your jib boom from your bowsprit? I don't know my jib boom from my bowsprit, bud. I do. I learned it all from my da. Is this guy Irish? Your da? He's Ward's son. Followed him on board back in the city. Smurf! I should just have a generic crows, ravens, and magpies. I knew it. I should just have like a generic sailor voice for these dudes. What should we do with him, Captain? Well, Shaw. Hunt eyes you up. Your first mate, what should we do with him? You don't know what a jib boom is, Ben? Psh, I don't. I admit it. I'd keep them aboard. He's not staying on board. It's your decision to make, not mine. Well, we'll keep him. Why not? More characters for me to do voices for. I'd keep them aboard. Hunt squints. Why? Good question. You need all the help you can get. This young man wants to help. He's clearly here because of his father is. It could be wrong to separate them. We don't have time to accommodate this. If the boy wants to freeze to death, let him. We need all the help we can get. All right, boy. Consider yourself part of the crew. Throw him in the brig with the captain's daughter. I don't think this captain has a daughter. Be sure to keep your nose clean and follow orders. I will. Thank you, sir. Captain, not sir. Aye, Captain. The stowaway joins the two sailors below deck. You are now a member of the crew. Well, it seems the litter has a new runt. I hope the rest won't mind sharing their rations. Plus one available crew. The crew is increased to 25. What of the father? What of the father? Simple, split their pay and their rations. Any rations the boy takes should come from his. I doubt he intended for this to happen. We'll keep an eye on them both. Yeah. That one. I suppose you're right. Well, that matter's sorted. Finish requests. Wait, that's what you do with a drunken sailor. Never mind. Yeah, he didn't seem drunk. Just underage. Now that's all settled, I have one more errand for you to run. Could you grab the Stoke brothers and order them to meet me up deck after dinner? Hefty lads, red hair, you couldn't mistake them for another. An urgent matter? Not at all. Nothing you should concern yourself with. They'll be down in the middle of the deck. In the meantime, you should grab a copy of the crew manifest and get acquainted with more of the crew. Aye, aye, sir. Join the figure balancing on the mast. Sure. Who's this fool? Upon closer inspection, you make out the ship's photographer, Kasha Belford, balanced on the ship's mast with her camera, lining up a photo. Get down immediately, you'll kill yourself. What? How's the view up there? Jesus Christ. You startled a woman, causing her to fall and nearly drop her camera. Help her down. You help her retrieve the device and untangle herself from the rigging. Alright, note to self, this woman startles easily. That was a close shave, Officer Shaw. It's about time I meet the first officer of the ship. Kasha Belford. Yes, I've heard of you already. Do I? Nice to meet you, Kasha. I suppose there's some sort of rule against what I was doing up there. Deepest apologies, but sometimes there's a shot you just cannot pass up. An accomplished photographer, Kasha Belford won the Fentler Prize, the highest honor in journalism, for her work covering plague outbreaks and riots in the capital. It came as a surprise to many that such a reputable journalist would take such an interest in this expedition. There was scarcely any chance of Hunt or the benefactor turning her away. You expected someone of her accolades to be older, more experienced. This is likely her first time on the sea like this. She's not prepared for this. Her proof is all we have. Her accomplishments surely outweigh her youth. I mean, she is kind of important. Unless we devise a way to bring the Viscount Black with us, her proof is all we have. The Cold Game. Picture that as a header. What? For the piece on this voyage, I'm trying to come up with a snappy name. No one will read it if the title sounds like a work of an amateur. I'm not the creative type. I'm sure you'd know better. It sounds fine to me. I like it. In Maine, if you drink while underage, not only are you charged for the underage drinking, but also for underage possession of alcohol. The alcohol in your body? That's wild. It sounds fine to me. I like it. Kasha places a finger to her chin, squinting her eye in thought. It's not perfect, but it's a work in progress. Plenty of time. We haven't even hit the ice yet. It's all so exciting already. I suppose someone of your experience finds it all boring at this point. A trip in the ice might seem dull compared to the Royal Admiralty. I'm not adverse to thrills. Well, I hope we have some coming this way. I'm hoping to capture something right out of Kurt Darling's old escapades. That reminds me, he'll be joining us at the next port. I should get his picture at some point. Kasha holds up her camera with a sense of pride before holding it up to her face. Stand still, Shaw. Snap. The captain sent me to grab a copy of the manifest. How long did they take to develop? Only a day or two. I've made a makeshift darkroom in the hold. Speaking of photographs, she hands you an annotated document. Here it is, the crew's manifest. Neato. We have Joseph Gren, also known as Joe. He's a sailor and ice savvy. We have Amelia Corvid Sparrow, sailor and ice savvy. Killian Smurf Sanders. And then we also have Timmy Runt Ward, who is a stowaway, salt-born sailor. Very cool. We haven't met most of the other people. Robin Shaw is me. You don't get to see my face. We have Richard Templeton, Kasha Belford, Rufus Hunt, and that's it. We have the camera and an accordion. Very cool. How do I close this? It's a work in progress. The scout team are to join us at the next port, and the captain's forbidden me from the boiler room. If you could ask the others to get their portraits taken, I'd be very grateful. Don't want to leave anyone out. I'll see what I can do. I'll not disturb you of your work any further, officer. I have a few more shots I want to get before the sun lowers anyhow. Safe shots, officer. Don't worry. You leave her to her work. No, that's just what you look like. You're a headless body. Alright, we have to talk to the two Johns. The captain wanted us to bring them. You spot a large man with a youthful gait, carrying a heavy crate over his shoulder with relative ease. Oh, you're Officer Shaw. He gives a bright, warming smile. Two Johns. That's what they call me. I'm sure you'll get your nickname later. Two Johns attempts to offer a handshake, but loses control of the crate. He struggles before firmly holding it in place with both hands. Maybe later. Work waits. John was added to the manifest. Okay, that wasn't the guy that the captain wanted to see. Should we go to the forecastle? Oh, it's locked. The kennel master is preparing the room inside. Alright, we won't go in there. Descend below deck. Anything back here? Anything up here? Nothing. Just a bunch of doors. Alright, we will continue to go down. Hey! It's the boys! Approach the accordionist. He looks so pissed off. Why is he so mad looking? One of the crew, a red-headed man with a thick beard, sits proud, playing on the ivory accordion. He spots you and ceases his playing. Need something? Who are you? Nice accordion, do you mind if I see? I was just looking for the Stoke brothers. Emergency? Just a meeting with Hunt. You're speaking to one of them. Grimly Stoke. We'll head up after dinner. You can go now. Thank you for releasing me. He's Nordic? How do you know? The man gestures to the cook across the room before resuming his playing. The cook must be his brother. This dude. Call the crew for dinner? I guess we should. Ring, ring. The crew have their meal. It passes in relative silence. The crew return to their posts. The hammocks are unfurled in preparation for the evening. Twilight falls. We got the dinner table. Over dinner, you overhear the newly picked up stowaway speaking with a one-armed man. But Da! You're lucky Hunt didn't throw you overboard. Half a mind to do that myself. Come on, Da. I'm here to help. Better know that involves work. Don't expect special treatment. I won't! You're an impossible child, Timmy. Doug Ward has been added to the manifest. Doug and Timmy Ward. Up we go. Another dude? Mr. Gloss. And enter your own cabin. Let's talk to Mr. Gloss. You spot one of Templeton's science team pacing around the mid-deck, searching through some luggage that's been pulled from a cabin. Let me look in the light. Where was it now? He notices you. Ah, Officer Shaw, correct? Dwight Glossley. Apologies, I seem to have misplaced something while settling in the cabin. A bottle of wine, actually. Can't be hard to miss. It will turn up eventually. You best not be drinking on the job. Can't be hard to miss. I would hope so. My wife and I brought a bottle to celebrate with. You brought your wife? Norse runes were on his accordion and his sleeve. To be saved for the journey back, of course. Well, if you find it, please let me know. It's in my cabin. I snatched it. I'm the thief. What's going on in here? Open my journal. All right, we can't write yet. But we could read our journal. The ocean makes me think we're in hell every time I see it looking like that. The ocean, or we could talk to Templeton. Let's do the ocean first. As you look over the railing out to the ocean, a wisp of smoke flies past your face. You turn to examine and spot a sailor with a pipe in his mouth and a sheet of paper in his hand, overlooking the stirring waters. Smoking sailor. Looking at something? Who are you? Not many sailors can read or write. What's the letter? Any spare tobacco? I'd smoke with this guy. Why not? I don't share. Oh, rude. Tashi. After introducing himself, Tashi falls silent and begins to read the letter. Trying to draw conversation from him may be similar to extracting teeth. Alright, we won't. His name is Vern Sheridan, but he is called Tashi. Alright, let's talk to Templeton. You spot Templeton looking out into the sunset. As you approach, he turns to you and nods. Ah, Officer Shaw. It'll be some time before we see a sunset such as this again. The light distribution toward the southern pole is quite the change. Sentimental, I noticed you weren't at dinner with the others. It will be quite some time before we return home. Indeed. Templeton keeps his focus on the reflection of the setting sun over the stirring waters of the ocean. There's a great expectation upon us, officer. From who? Who is this benefactor of ours? That is not for you to know. Not yet. That was cryptic as hell! Templeton looks down, catching his reflection on the ocean surface. He looks back up at the sunset. Quite the sight, but I wouldn't linger upon it too long. We should retire for the evening. It's important for the first officer to be well rested. Hold E to advance to the next week. Alright. We have done so. It is now 3 degrees Celsius, still above freezing. Food rations per crew member this week. Normal is 2, half is 1, and none. What's the difference? Oh, if you do half rations, it makes people unhappy. I understand. And then fuel rations also makes people unhappy. Okay, confirm rations. We'll do full rations. The ship makes its last port at Orca Island. Cordell's sledding dogs are picked up, the scouting crew and Kurt Darling are picked up, and the days are getting brighter as you move further south. Let's start next week.